up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, tigerfitness.com. Man, you know, I got a comment on one of my videos the other day that someone wanted to start natty building. Thought to myself, what the hell is natty building and why are people asking me this, right? So then I'm actually in a little feud with Cali Muscle. You might not have noticed this because he's a smooth brain. And people are going in and people actually commenting like, why are you even bothering Cali Muscle when this Sulek guy, who I've done a video on, saying, hey, you do you, man. If you want to do whatever you want, you're a full-grown adult. You can make your choices, do whatever you want. Proud of this kid for making all that money, being so popular at such a young age. And that's for him himself. But what does it do societally, right? Because I'm thinking, like, what the hell is natty building? And it brings me to think that people are watching these social media influencers, obviously on copious amounts of drugs. Sulek. Well, I mean, you can even point out, you know, a classic physique, Chris Bumstead, Mr. Olympia, who is honest about what he's on. But a lot of kids, and I know this because every kid at my gym loves him, and he's been to the gym many times, but they idolize the guy. So the fact that, you know, that's their idol and they're on all those drugs, you know, it's not to get to that level. I think that the problem is people don't think you can make gains without drugs. So the issue isn't that they're on drugs, that they're on drugs at such a young age, in the case of Sulek. And people are like, well, if he's 21 and he can do this, which obviously he can, and he is doing it, well, then I have to as well to make gains. So this is not new, right? Like, you've heard me talk about Jay Cutler and Branch Warren doing the teen nationals, and they looked phenomenal. And if they were natural, then hey, awesome. But let's presume, or just for sake of conversation, they weren't natural. The difference is you would have to literally pick up a Flex magazine at the time to know that these guys were teenagers competing at that level. The information wasn't hitting millions and millions and millions and millions of followers on TikTok. But with social media, these kids see Sulek going from a normal-sized kid at 19 years old to a 400-pound lean man. Just kidding, he's not 400 pounds. At 21 years old, and they're like, wow, I need to get me whatever he's taking. And asking around, just being around these kids, they're not like I was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I thought Arnold was natural. I thought Dorian was natural. Like, back in the day, we didn't have this information where we knew everybody's steroid cycle, right? Like, we would hear, like, because of Marc, keep in mind, I was a teenager when the Marc McGuire, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, when that stuff hit the fan. And those guys are like, dude, they're taking this andro. And we all know Marc McGuire was taking more than andro. But, I mean, we were like, holy crap, I got to get to GNC and get me some of this stuff, right? But even then, we were too scared because all over our high school locker rooms, in the locker room, like, I remember there being this like sign, like, if you take steroids, like, your balls will fall off and you'll grow titties. I'm like, dude, I'm already fat. I already got big enough titties. I don't want bigger titties. And I really like my balls. Like, they really just started working when I was like 12. I'm like 16. I've only had like 4 full years of enjoyment with my balls. And now I'm like, oh, my balls are going to go away. No, thank you. I like my balls. So getting big, I was like, I'm going to see what I could do naturally because, hey, Arnold was natural. And if Arnold can get big naturally, so can I. So I don't blame Sam. I don't blame Chris. I don't blame anybody because, you know, for Sam, his love of the sports and his gains, positive for him, at least for now. We don't know what's going to happen to him long term, right? Like, there are long-term health consequences to being on absurd amounts of steroids. Now, I will put a caveat. He looks so good that I'm assuming that he's on a pretty high dose. I doubt, based on how he looks, and I get this about me all the time, and I'm called a liar, so I guess I'm kind of a hypocrite, but he looks like, for those games, like, keep in mind, I've been lifting for 30 years. That's like, I've been lifting 10 years longer than he's been alive. And this is the best I can do. And I have taken large steroid cycles, and he looks really good. Either he's the best responding person in the world, which is a possibility, or the kid's on just a lot of drugs, like grams of drugs, right? And I think most teenagers see that. For example, where I live, and again, it could be based on socioeconomics, all that good stuff. A lot of dads out here just look like normal dudes, but probably I would guess 30 to 40% of the guys around me, be it soccer dads, wrestling dads, just people in my neighborhood, are on some form of TRT from their doctor due to hormonal deficiencies because they can afford it, because they can afford the better doctors and the better treatment. So out here, a lot of these kids, their parents are on some form of TRT, a lot of them. Or they know a parent who is. So if, Bill down the street is taking steroids and he just looks like a normal dude, then you see a Sam Sulek or a Chris Bumstead, you're going to assume that they're taking more drugs than your bro's dad. Okay, so there's that. Like, a lot of people are on TRT. A lot. I don't think you guys realize how many normal people, how many normal aging men are on TRT. So these guys see their Uncle Bill, and the dude's like just a normal guy, flabby arms, a little poochy belly, and then they see fucking Sam Sulek, and they're like, holy crap, this guy's on much more than Unc, So at the end of the day, here's the thing. I train kids, high school age kids and lower, some college age, some pros. I also own gyms. So the kids I train, they're not doing steroids. They're not taking anything. First of all, I would not coach them. I would be like, you need to get off this stuff, get help. We're not doing this. I am not letting you ruin your life or take this at a young age because, well, you're going to get popped anyway in college. We don't need you getting popped, and it's not the right move. We could do a lot of what you need, all of what you need naturally. When you get ready for the pros, look, I don't know what goes on there. I'm not going to claim to know what goes on there. I know what goes on to the college level and getting ready for pros. I have helped coach people getting ready for the NFL Combine, but I'm not going to pretend for 1 second that I know what percentage of NFL players are on stuff. I know some NFL players or former NFL players who were natural, who I believe, so it is possible. So they're tested for sport. I'm not worried about them, but their friends. I hear stories about their friends on the newest SARMs, jumping on a cycle. I see kids come in and out of the gym every single day who you can tell are on something. They're not developed. They're not looking like Sam, but I'm talking like overnight. You get the back knee and you get all the signs of steroid use. Or maybe they will make a bunch of like sloppy gains because a lot of these kids have no idea how to eat and train to support their drug use. But there are a lot of kids. I've seen an increase in kids on steroids. And the bottom line is because since they don't know how to train, a lot of these kids don't know hard work. A lot of these kids don't know what it's like to diet. They don't want to wait for that natty base. When I say natty base, look, man, it's pretty well known and understood that Ronnie went pretty far as a natural. I competed and won NPC shows, qualified for nationals a few times as a natural up to age of 27. A lot of people, Kai Green won WNBF Worlds at 18 years old, a natural bodybuilding championship. So a lot of the old school used to build this base, and they used to understand that they're not going to look like Mr. Olympia, but I'll tell you what, if you train hard and you train consistently and you eat right, eat for what your goal is, whether it's to gain muscle or lose fat, you will look amazing. You will look really good. You're not going to look like Sam, but you will look really good. But these kids, man, they see the success that this guy is having. They see all the views, and they want that. They want to be popular. So the thing is, they look at it, they're like, well, at 19 years old, this kid was nothing. Like, he was a good-looking kid, but he wasn't jacked. And then he took steroids for 2 years, and now he's making millions of dollars just doing videos of him training. Literally setting up a tripod with a camera, driving to the gym and making millions of dollars just because he's jacked. I hope you're seeing the problem with this, right? So the thing about kids, though, I notice they'll be training for like 3-4 weeks, and then it's like they'll come and they'll ask my opinion in the gym, It's like they bench one time, they think it's time for trend. Speaking of trend, we have an entire channel that attracts mostly probably 16 to 24-year-olds called the Trend Twins. Literally, trend is in their name. I don't actually care if they use trend. I'm not going to say that they're doing anything wrong, but let's say their demographic, I guarantee you their YouTube demo is 16, if not younger, to 24 years old, if that, maybe 21, 22. So these kids are literally glorifying trend, a very harsh advanced steroid that I've never met a pro other than Nate Diasha. Diasha loves his trend. He takes it year round. He's been on record saying that a few times. If you ask a pro about trend, they'll say, yes, I take it, but it's a necessary evil. Nobody likes being on trend. So imagine this is from, let's say, a 32, 33-year-old grizzled bodybuilding pro. Someone who's taken a lot of drugs and they hate trend. So you put a 16 to an 18-year-old with no drug experience on the most harsh injectable drug there is. I'm not going to say harshest drug because y'all ain't know about that halo testing. Woo, that halo testing is harsh. It'll give you yellow eyes in like a day. And it is literally divorce in a bottle. Don't take halo, don't take trend. So you have these kids glorifying trenbolone, and then you have these kids who see this quick path to fame, to fortune, to girls, to guys, to whatever their flavor, I don't care. And they're like, I need to be like Sam. And then they look into, they do some searches, and they see, oh, Sam's on this, Sam's on that. It is what it is. So here's the problem. And again, this is not... Again, I want Sam and everybody mentioned to make a lot of money. I want them to be very successful. This is in no way hate. This is just addressing something that I hope kids see, or I hope parents see, and they know what is being done. Okay, I have children. My children are on social media. My son, I just looked today, he follows these people. Okay? So this is nothing that doesn't affect me. So maybe if a lot of people know what's going on, they know how to mitigate this and talk to their kids that maybe trend or going on a harsh anabolic cycle at the age of 17 is not a good idea. So the issue is it's going to hurt a lot of people. A lot of people will get hurt by emulating these kids. I 100% stand by that. Is it their fault? Are they liable? No. But it is just a side effect of showing what they're doing and people knowing how they're doing it. That is no fault of Sam. That is no fault of Chris. That is simply people wanting to look like somebody and thinking that you need something to look like them, which you do, but you have to look at the negatives of this. So what happens when you take steroids at an early age? Well, heart effects. By altering your chemistry in your body, by altering your HDL and your LDL and all your lipid profiles, it can cause heart damage. It can cause plaque buildup in the arteries. It can cause problems. And also, I'm not sure if this is just athletes or steroid-using athletes, but there is a possibility or a probability that steroid use will enlarge your heart, especially I think it's the left atrium or ventricle. Don't quote me on that. I do not have notes on that. But it enlarges the area you don't want enlarged. So doing crazy steroid cycles to be like Sam at a young age. So let's say you start steroids at 25 and you do them for 5 years. That's going to be less damage on your body than if you start at 16 and do them to 30. And we're just talking about the heart. Now, the heart, I would imagine, at the age of 16 is pretty well developed, right? You know what isn't? Well, your reproductive system. Your body's still just fresh through puberty. Your body's still releasing a lot of these hormones to help you grow and develop into a man. What it can do, again, your body can bounce back. There are things to help with it. It can damage your ability to have children later on. It can hurt your fertility. Again, like, I don't want these kids to go through life without having the joy, if they want to, of course, of having a kid, unless they're a dink. You ever look that up? Look up dink. What is it? Dual income, no kids. It's a thing now. These TikTokers, man. And also burnout. Look, man, other than the aforementioned, like Branch Warren, Jay Cutler, and a few others, Most people who start bodybuilding and lifting that hard, all the people I've known throughout my life who were always more jacked than me, I didn't start training for bodybuilding till I was in my mid to late 20s, right? But I trained for football. I trained for a whole bunch of sports. I've been weight training since 13 consistently, but I didn't take it to that level with bodybuilding till I was in my late 20s, where, I powerlifted in my early 20s, all natural. I did some modeling in my early 20s, all natural. I competed in my mid 20s, all natural. It was my late 20s that I got diagnosed with low testosterone and I went on TRT. And even then I didn't really have my first cycle till I was in my 30s. And again, I'm not as good as these guys. I'm not as popular, but I'm healthy. My blood work's great. My calcium scan's great. And I feel great. And in that time, I got to build a career that wasn't based on social media. My career is based on my career. I've been doing spreadsheets all day and I hate them. Yeah, don't be like me. Just take a bunch of drugs. Come to think of it, I should have done what they did. I didn't have social media. I guess I came at it too late. So my advice is to stay natural as long as possible. Look, man, in this day and age, we have obesity over 70%. And I'm sure it's higher because the last statistics were in 2019 before the great fattening of 2020. If you are simply not fat, I'm not talking about having a six-pack abs, veins leading down to your happy place. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about just simply be in shape and not fat. Be able to move, be able to breathe when you walk upstairs. You're in the 1%. And if you work on your career and you work on making money, if you make six figures a year and you're in good shape, I don't care the height thing, 6 foot tall. Okay, whatever. I see a lot of really, really jacked people at 5'6" and above, and even shorter than that, getting really attractive women. So that whole you got to be tall thing, maybe most women prefer it. But dude, if you're jacked and you have money, I don't see a woman be like, well, you're only 5'10". Nah, not going to happen. Again, just be in shape, work on your career, save your money. You'll be just fine. And chances are you're not going to have Sam Sulek's personality. So you're going to flop on social media. And chances are more than that, when you take a lot of steroids, it might not work. I've seen a lot of people take a lot of steroids and they looked like shit. Taking steroids just made him look like a bigger piece of shit. So you don't have his genetics. You sure as shit don't have Chris Bumstead's genetics. Got me? So even if you take the steroids, you're probably not going to look nearly as good as they are. Same reason when I took steroids, I didn't magically turn into Phil Heath, although we both have blue eyes. And if you want to take steroids, I understand your doctor can't prescribe a lot of the steroids that bodybuilders take. Find a doctor or find a friend who's a doctor. Find somebody who can help guide you, tell you when to take blood work, tell you how to read your blood work, give you advice, make sure you're healthy, and find a good general practitioner. So if God forbid something goes off track, he can prescribe you stuff that'll help you, right? He can prescribe you blood pressure medication, prescribe you statins. Oh, statins. Okay, shut up, I don't want to have, I'm just saying, like having someone like that in your corner is great. If you want to go the TRT route, my doctor's linked down below if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, probably forgot to do it. Hormone Health and Wellness, that's who handles mine. So I use two doctors, guys, and they both kind of work together, but not really. They both use each other. So I have Hormone Health and Wellness. They handle my hormones. And I have my doctor who's just a general practitioner in Brentwood, Tennessee. Normal dude, doesn't know shit about bodybuilding, but what they'll do is Hormone Health and Wellness will give the list of blood work that he wants run. My doctor will write the prescription for it, and they'll also work together. Like if there's any issues, if let's say my cholesterol's off or this is off, and they'll work together and they'll come up with a plan to keep me healthy and strong. So again, there's nothing wrong with general practitioners. Just if you don't like yours, it's a free country. Go to someone else in your network, or if you have a PPO out of your network. I mean, you can really find this. Okay? So if you don't want to do either of those, just know the risks and know, and I hate saying this, that you might die young because of these risks. And if you're willing to take these risks, I'm a libertarian, personal responsibility, you do you. If you're willing to take these risks, hey man, you know, you live one life, you choose how long, you choose how well you want to live it. And, you know, if you want to live your life a certain way, knowingly cutting years most likely off of your life, hey man, you do you, live the best life that you can live. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I just hope everybody just, you know, thinks things through before they make these decisions. Anyway, tigerfitness.com right now. We got our 8 days of gains, 8 days of holiday gains. It's been crazy. I'm going to link that down below. And every day has been a crazy sale. Today we're doing buy and surge and get tyrant free. And yep, just click on the link, check it out. Anyway, I'm Marc Lobliner. One more thing, if you do buy sport nutrition supplements, go to tigerfitness.com. That is my site. It helps to support my staff, my family, and give us a chance because we have not only the best supplements, hundreds of brands, but we also have the best service you will find anywhere and the fastest shipping, free shipping over $99. And it ships from both Ohio and Nevada. So it's bound to get to you in about 1 to 2 days. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That's not a game. The outright bar was created for my kids. My kids need a snack to eat during soccer tournaments, and also I wanted a bar for myself to eat pre-workout, post-workout, and also throughout the day. You want your outright bars right now. That's why we have a partnership going with the Vitamin Shop to make sure that we're in all 750 plus locations, providing the best price, the best service, the best people to give you the outright bar when and where you need it.